Wasting money on investments again? Mom sneered across the dinner table, eyeing the financial documents spread beside my plate. What is it this time? More penny stocks. I carefully tucked the real estate acquisition papers back into my folder. Documents showing I'd just purchased the entire Riverside Commercial Complex through my holding company, River Crown Investments. The same complex where my family's law firm occupied the top 3 floors. Just some small investments, I replied, pushing my food around. Nothing major. Dad, senior partner at Mitchell & Associates, scoffed. At least your brother James knows how to handle money properly. Made partner at 35, owns his own penthouse. Actually, James was about to lose that penthouse. The building had been quietly acquired by one of my shell companies last week, and the rent was doubling next month. Speaking of property, Mom brightened. James just bought another unit in that luxury development downtown. Meanwhile, you're still renting that tiny apartment. I smiled, thinking of my tiny apartment, the entire top floor of River Tower, currently disguised as a modest rental. They had no idea I owned the building along with half the downtown real estate portfolio they so admired. The firm's expanding again, James announced, arriving late as usual in his designer suit. Taking over the whole 42nd floor. Dad pulled some strings with the building management. I bit back a laugh. The building management was me. Their expansion request had landed on my desk yesterday, marked urgent. That's wonderful, darling. Mom beamed. Such a smart investment, leasing in Riverside Complex. The most prestigious address in the city. About that, I started, but James cut me off. Did you hear they're selling the building? Some investment group bought it. Probably going to jack up the rents. If he only knew. River Crown Investments, my company, had plans for more than just rent increases. Maybe they'll finally fix the elevators, Dad grumbled. Been complaining to management for months. I'm sure the new owners will address that, I said carefully, knowing the modernization plans were already in motion. How would you know? James smirked. Still playing with your little investment apps? I thought of my real portfolio. 30 commercial properties, 15 residential developments, and a growing international presence. All carefully hidden behind holding companies and shell corporations. Just following the market, I shrugged. Speaking of following, Mom interjected, that junior associate position is still open at the firm. James could put in a word. I'm good with my current job. My current job being CEO of a billion-dollar real estate empire, but they didn't need to know that yet. What job? James laughed. Day trading from your laptop isn't a career. Dad nodded sagely. Real estate takes connections, princess. Years of networking, building relationships. You can't just walk in and buy a building? I suggested innocently. Exactly. He pointed his fork for emphasis. Leave the big investments to those who understand the business. I checked my phone under the table. The official notice to all Riverside Complex tenants would go out tomorrow morning. New ownership, new management, new terms. Well, I gathered my things. I should go. Have an early meeting tomorrow. With your investment advisor? James mocked. Going to buy another share of Apple? Something like that. I kissed Mom's cheek, already anticipating tomorrow's chaos. In my Bentley, carefully parked 3 blocks away, I changed into my CEO attire. Chanel suit, Louboutins, power jewelry. My phone buzzed with updates about tomorrow's announcement. Ms. Rivers, my assistant texted using my professional name, all notices are prepared. Security teams will be in place by 8 a.m. Perfect. The law firm's partners usually arrived at 9. Your brother tried to schedule another meeting about the expansion. Another message read. Still marked urgent. Even better. Let him sweat a little longer. Is everything ready for the renovation announcement? I replied. Yes. Including the part about relocating current tenants during construction. I smiled, imagining their reaction. For years, they'd dismissed my business acumen, treated me like a naive hobbyist playing with pocket change. Tomorrow they'd learn what real investment looked like. And I had front row seats to the show. Monday morning, 8:45 a.m. I stood in my private elevator in the Riverside Complex, watching the numbers climb. My Louboutins clicked against imported marble as I reviewed the morning schedule on my tablet. Status report? I asked my CEO Rachel Chin. Notices delivered to all tenants at 8 a.m. sharp. Your father's been on the phone with his contacts since 8:15, trying to reach the old management. Your brother arrived early for once. He's been pacing the executive floor. The elevator opened onto the 40th floor, where my new offices occupied the entire level. Through floor-to-ceiling windows I could see the law firm's reception area 2 floors up, already buzzing with agitated partners. Security teams? I confirmed, straightening my Chanel jacket. In position. IT has already begun the system upgrades. The renovation crews are standing by. Rachel checked her tablet. Oh, and your mother just arrived. Apparently she brings fresh flowers to your father's office every Monday. I smiled, remembering all those elaborate bouquets meant to showcase their success. Well, let's not keep them waiting. The first sign something was wrong hit the law firm at exactly 9 a.m. Their key cards stopped working. Their phones went dead. Their computers displayed a single message: system upgrade in progress. Please stand by for new management orientation. I watched through security feeds as chaos erupted. Partners shouting into dead phones. Associates clutching coffee cups, locked out of their offices. James, face reddening, demanding answers from a security guard who kept repeating, "Please wait for the new owner's representative." At 9:15, Dad finally arrived, Mom's flowers in hand. He found his entire firm locked out of their offices, clustering in the hallways like lost sheep. "What the hell is going on?" His voice boomed through the security feed. "Get me building management." "That would be me," I said, stepping out of the private elevator. The crowd fell silent. Mom's flowers slipped from Dad's hands, scattering across imported marble. "Alexandra." James stuttered. "What are you?" "Welcome to the new Riverside Complex," I announced, Rachel distributing folders beside me. "I'm Alexandra Rivers, CEO of River Crown Investments. Your new landlord." Dad's face went from red to white. "Rivers? The investment group that bought the building?" "Actually," Rachel interjected, "Ms. Rivers owns the entire downtown portfolio. This building is just our latest acquisition." James snatched a folder, flipping through pages frantically. "This is impossible. You're just a what?" I asked softly. "A small investor? A hobbyist playing with apps." Mom found her voice first. But your apartment, your little investments, were a convenient cover." I activated the hallway screens, displaying River Crown's portfolio. "I own 30 commercial properties, 15 residential developments, and yes, the building where your precious penthouse sits, James." The crowd of lawyers muttered, recognizing address after address of prestigious properties they'd coveted. "Now," I continued, "about those renovation plans." "Renovation?" Dad's legal mind finally engaged. "We have a lease, which gives the owner full rights to perform necessary upgrades." I pulled up the blueprints. "Starting with those elevators you've been complaining about. Of course, that means relocating all tenants for, about 6 months. 6 months. James exploded. "We can't relocate. Our clients will be impressed by your new offices," I finished. "In River Tower. 20th floor. Much smaller, of course, but the rent's only triple what you're paying now." "Triple?" Mom whispered. "But James said the firm's finances are a mess," I confirmed. "Yes, I've seen the books. Occupying premium space while bleeding money isn't great business strategy, is it?" Dad stepped forward, lawyer mode activating. "Now see here, young lady." "Ms. Rivers," Rachel corrected sharply. "Or would you prefer your landlord?" I held up a hand. "The renovation notice gives you 30 days to relocate. River Tower space is available immediately, at the new rate, of course. Your choice." "Choice?" James laughed desperately. "This is blackmail." "No," I smiled. "This is investment strategy. The kind you said I'd never understand." Security teams appeared at each end of the hallway. IT specialists rolled in carts of equipment, ready to begin the system overhaul. "You have 1 hour to collect personal items," I announced. "Everything else stays until the new lease terms are signed. Rachel will supervise." "Wait," Mom called as I turned to leave. "Your apartment, in River Tower. The penthouse." I raised an eyebrow. That's my private residence. All 60 floors below it belong to River Crown Investments. 60 floors. James choked. That's the most expensive real estate portfolio in the city? Yes, I know. I built it. I checked my watch. 59 minutes left. I suggest you start packing. 1 month later, I sat in my River Tower penthouse office, reviewing the transformation of the Riverside Complex. Through wall-to-wall windows, I could see construction crews swarming the building like ants, gutting the outdated interior for a complete modernization. Ms. Rivers, Rachel entered with the morning reports. The law firm's relocation is complete. They took the River Tower space. At triple the rent? Actually quadruple. Your brother tried negotiating, it didn't go well. I smiled, remembering James's attempts to leverage his family connection. How are they settling in? Your father's new office is exactly 1/10 the size of his old one. James had to lay off 3 associates to cover the new rent. And your mother? Still bringing flowers? Switched to supermarket bouquets. Rachel pulled up more data. The firm's finances are worse than we thought. They've been operating on reputation and borrowed money for years. I turned to my screens displaying the real-time renovation feeds. And the penthouse eviction? James moves out next week. His mortgage application for a new place was denied. Apparently, someone flagged his credit history. That someone being me, though he didn't need to know that. Your mother's been calling, Rachel added. Something about the country club membership. Which they can't afford anymore, I finished. Amazing how quickly status symbols fade when you have to actually pay for them. My phone buzzed. Dad probably making another attempt to negotiate the lease terms. I let it go to voicemail just like I had every day for the past month. The firm's client list is shrinking, Rachel continued. Turns out premium addresses and expensive artwork were hiding some serious competence issues. Speaking of artwork, I pulled up an inventory. What did they leave behind? Everything they couldn't prove they owned personally, including that Picasso print your father claimed was worth millions. The fake one. I laughed. Add it to the evidence file. Just then my private elevator chimed. Security feeds showed my entire family. Dad looking rumpled in a non-designer suit, James without his usual Italian leather briefcase, Mom clutching her drugstore flowers. Send them up, I decided. Time to finish this. They entered like chastened children, taking in my real office. All chrome and glass and power, with their old building visible through the windows behind me. Alexandra, Dad started then corrected himself. Ms. Rivers. We need to talk. About. I gestured to seats worth more than their monthly rent. The firm. We can't sustain these rates, James admitted. We've lost clients, had to cut staff. Sounds like poor business management, I observed. Something about real estate taking connections and understanding. Mom stepped forward, flowers trembling. Sweetheart, we know we underestimated you. Underestimated. I pulled up their financial records. You spent years mocking my investment strategies while running your firm into the ground. Living on borrowed money and inflated reputations. We built that reputation, Dad protested weakly. No, I corrected, you inherited it. Then squandered it on expensive offices and country club memberships you couldn't afford. James slumped in his chair. The other partners are talking about splitting up the firm. Good. I stood, power dynamics clear in our reflection. Maybe they'll learn what real business looks like. Is that what this is about? Mom's voice cracked. Teaching us a lesson? This is about business, I replied calmly. Your lease was undervalued. Your offices needed updating. The market demanded change. The market? Dad scoffed. You mean your revenge? Check the comparable rates, I suggested. You're getting exactly what the space is worth. The fact that you can't afford it? That's your problem. We're family, Mom tried again. Family. I pulled up old emails. Like when you told the bank not to fund my first property purchase. Or when James spread rumors about my failed investments to discourage potential partners. They had the grace to look ashamed. Here's what I'm offering, I continued, distributing new folders. Reduced rates on a smaller office space. 10th floor back of the building. No view, no prestige address, but manageable rent. 10th floor. James looked horrified. Our clients will judge you on your work, not your zip code. I sat back. That's what real business is about. Dad opened his folder slowly. And the renovation charges? Consider them forgiven. Call it a family discount. I paused. The only one you'll ever get. Why? Mom asked quietly. Why help us at all? Because unlike you, I understand the difference between business and cruelty. I stood, ending the meeting. You have until Friday to decide. 10th floor or find new space elsewhere. After they left, Rachel returned with updates. James's penthouse is already rented, to one of their former clients, ironically. The country club approved their membership termination. And your mother? Let me guess. Cancelled her standing flower order? Actually, she enrolled in a financial literacy course. I smiled slightly. Progress. Evening found me on my private terrace, watching lights flicker on across my real estate empire. My phone showed a text from James. We'll take the 10th floor. Smart choice, I replied. First time for everything. Another message from Mom. The financial course teacher says I should have listened to you years ago. Better late than never, I wrote back. Dad hadn't tried to contact me again. Probably still struggling with the new reality. One where his daughter wasn't just an investor but his landlord. Where premium addresses couldn't hide poor management. Where real success meant more than just appearances. Rachel joined me with the evening reports. The firm signed the new lease. 10 years, fixed rate, 10th floor. With the ethics clause prominently featured. Any hint of financial misconduct voids the lease immediately. I nodded, watching construction crews finish another day at Riverside Complex. The building would emerge stronger, modernized, better managed. Just like my family, perhaps. Ms. Rivers, Rachel hesitated. Your mother left something at reception. Said it was important. I opened the small package. Inside was a single supermarket rose and a note. Sorry we didn't see your true value sooner. Progress, one wilted flower at a time. The future? Yet to be written. But at least now they were reading the right prospectus. And I owned all the property it was printed on.